I realized that I needed to be a living example for my kids. Hey Hitchhikers, welcome back to another episode of Bag Lady Unloaded. I am Nick, the Poetic Nomad, and today we are going to be talking about following your dreams as a mom. And let me start off at the beginning. The first time I decided I wanted to move to California, I was pregnant with my third child. I was working at Sunglass Hut, which is a boutique in the mall. I really had the notion that I was a California girl. I didn't even know what that meant. I just looked over at my friend, who'd been my friend for almost all my life at that point, and I said, I think I'm a Cali girl. And she's like, well, move to Cali. But I don't think she took me seriously. I was thinking like, yeah, I think I am going to move to Cali. I was born in Milwaukee because, you know, a choice my parents made. And I was in Georgia because I made the choice to follow a guy. I really just didn't like how my life was turning out. I knew I wanted to start living for me. Fast forward, I am really thinking about going. I'm like making vision boards and meditating. This person is being taken out of my life. That person's being taken out of my life. Basically starting to live a life that is more closely defined by who I am. People would ask me like, well, why California? What are you going to do there? And I'm like, live. But then I couldn't really articulate why California was calling out to me anyway, other than the fact that I wanted to be outdoors. I wanted to explore the earth, right? And I'm an earth sign 3 times. I'm a Virgo sun, Capricorn moon, and Taurus rising. So I love the earth, but I'm pretty sure you're like, this bitch is stubborn. So I was really becoming obsessed with the idea of moving to California. I didn't have any steps. I didn't really have a plan. I just knew what I wanted. On my vision board, I had California, making a certain amount of money, working from home, in Disney World, and going to music festivals, and all of those things that I wanted to do, right? I remember saying that I wanted to be able to support my children. I moved to California the first time. I just kind of jumped out there with no plan. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to make this work. Saved up a little bit, but I didn't have very much money, as you can imagine. The first time I went to California, I was terrified. I was kind of waking up on the flight over to California like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. Why am I doing this? Why am I not satisfied with the life I had? You know, I could have just made it work in Georgia. Why did I need to venture off and go somewhere else? I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't make any friends. I didn't, you know, people were trying to talk to me and I was like very like, I don't know you, and I'm like thousands of miles away from anybody that I know, so please stop talking to me. You know what I mean? Basically keeping to myself. I was too scared to do anything, and I didn't really trust myself. Stayed in a hotel for like a week and moved into like an Airbnb. I had spoken with the owner and they had agreed to help me out in this like transitional phase where I was going to be trying to, you know, basically find a job, find a stable place to live. And so it was going to be like a temporary thing, and they had agreed to rent me out a part of their home. We stayed in the Airbnb for the duration of the time we were in California until I went back to Georgia. I got back with my ex-husband and we tried to work it out for a little bit, but I just had bigger dreams than staying in Georgia. And eventually we decided to go our separate ways again. I'm like, I'm going back to California. And this time everybody was like, you're crazy. You went already. You tried it out. There is no reason why you should go back. You have those kids. You have to stop doing this. You can't just be hopping around and live this nomadic lifestyle while you have kids. You have 3 kids. You need to sit down and, you know, fix your life. And while I recognize the love in what they were saying, they were completely wrong. Because it is not meant for people to give you advice on your life. People can only give you advice for their life. So when you come to a friend and you say, I'm thinking about doing this. They aren't really necessarily considering you and what you have going on. They are seeing how that feels to them, how that information feels to their gut, how it feels to their heart. And if it feels like a no to them, they're going to tell you no. They can't know how your gut feels about a situation. They don't know. They're giving you information based on their past experiences. I definitely recognize the love in what they were saying, but they were wrong. And for a while, it really did take a toll on me. I couldn't explain why I knew I needed to go to California. I couldn't explain why I knew that California was definitely going to be something good for me, or why I was so driven. I was trusting myself in a way that I had never trusted myself before. There were so many people talking crap about me, and they didn't hold back. They were talking crap about me in front of my children. They were saying I was crazy, and I was getting phone calls from people and like, what are you doing? You need to be a mom. You're so irresponsible. People were calling me reckless, and I'm like, yeah, but I gotta go. I can't even tell you why I have to go. I just know I have to go. On the flight over, I was again terrified, but something inside of me was telling me to go. It was a conviction, if you know what I mean. We landed in California. I went to stay in a hotel in Bakersfield. I had a little bit more money saved up this time, and my ex-husband was with us, although he was not supposed to be staying. It took a while, but I did end up getting a job. I wasn't able to find a place that I was just happy with, that felt like home. So I kept waiting and waiting and waiting, again falling into that same pattern. Sometimes it's hard for me to make a decision if it feels like it's going to be a permanent one. And so I was stuck in this space where I was wanting to be there in California. I was scared to make it a permanent thing. I got a job as a debt collector. I think I get stable enough to tell my ex-husband, go home. Go. I don't need you anymore. I was still staying in a hotel. And he's like, okay, fine, or whatever. He kind of wanted to stay, but I knew it was something I needed to do by myself. Right after I got laid off from that job, and it was gut-wrenching. It was as if God had given me a vision and told me to follow the vision, and I followed that vision off of a cliff, and he let me fall. He let me fall and bust my ass, and I got up with all kind of scratches and broken bones. And I'm like, hey, God, hey, I'm here. You told me to come. I barely even wanted to come at this point. I was already changing my mind, but you kept pushing me to go, and I get here. And this is how it is. This is how it is following your dreams. You just let me fall. There was no mat on the floor, a piss-stained mattress from the ghetto. Nothing. There was nothing. I'm hurt. After I get over the crying and the screaming and the utter confusion, I decide that this is an opening for me to move to Los Angeles, which is really where I wanted to be. Bakersfield was really hot and small. I didn't have the things that I felt like I moved to California for. It was too far away from any beach. It was too far away from hiking, and it wasn't fully equipped for someone who doesn't drive. I line up a couple interviews. I pay for the hotel, buy a little food. The hotel didn't even have a microwave, which I didn't realize before I left. The main thing I was worried about was the kids going to a school in a good area. I chose Rowland Heights. I have to go sign up for like food stamps and everything like that, because I know that the money that I have is not going to last. At this point, I'm really depressed and basically just fighting through the day. I was able to stay afloat for about 2 months with the money that I was getting from the county. We ended up in a shelter. Downtown Los Angeles for 4 days. Hey hitchhikers, I wasn't able to upload the video in its entirety. The second half of the video will be in the description box below. If you've made it this far, please stay tuned, and thanks for watching.